Hey folks, I got a couple more antique new arrivals to share with you today, namely this pair of Smith & Wesson No.1 revolvers. The Smith & Wesson No.1 revolver is very interesting and innovative little piece. These were produced from 1857 to 1882, and they were Smith & Wesson's very first all-metallic cartridge firing revolver. All their prior models were muzzle-loading firearms. The use of metallic cartridge was something that was just starting at that time period. And in order for Smith & Wesson to get in on that design, they had to incorporate the patent from a third party. It was actually a former Colt employee named Roland White who held the patent for the through-bore design of the cylinder, which allowed for the cartridges to be used. So Smith & Wesson had to set up a royalty agreement with Mr. White before they could produce these. The revolver is chambered in 22 short, which a lot of you will be familiar with since that cartridge is still alive and well today. The Model 1 came in 3 main variations throughout the years. This is a second version that I'm holding in my hand, and this is a third version. You'll see some slight differences like the fluted cylinder. The design as far as loading and unloading the gun was very interesting as well. In order to open the firearm and get the cylinder out, there was a latch on the bottom of the frame here. You would pull that up, which allowed the front end of the frame and the barrel to tip up like that. You would then remove the cylinder in order to load and unload the firearm. Speaking of unloading it, once you fired all the cartridges, in order to get the empty cases out, there was an ejector rod attached to the frame under the barrel here so that you could poke the empty cases out like that. And once you had emptied it, you could reload with fresh cartridges, insert back into the revolver, and you were ready to go again. The design and popularity of this led to some copies. It was a very popular firearm for Smith & Wesson, and at least 3 other manufacturers, including Ethan Allen and Manhattan Firearms, made copies of the Smith & Wesson No.1. This is a Manhattan Arms copy. As you can see, it's pretty much identical. There's a couple little differences, but it was close enough that they did get sued, and to my understanding, they came to some sort of royalty agreement, and they continued to produce the copies. Smith & Wesson's No.1 was also upscaled into a centerfire version called the Smith & Wesson No.2, and that was also a very successful model for Smith & Wesson. So if you have any questions about these little Smith & Wesson No.1s, feel free to message us or stop by the shop. We'll be happy to show them to you. Thanks.